A very, very warm welcome. This is Arnav Chaudhary. You are on my YouTube channel, Arun Foot. It is Saturday, January the 25th, and we saw a little earlier today a game between FC Goa and Chennaiyin FC. Goa scored a 2-0 win. Quite impressive in the first 45, which gave FC Goa the 3 points. And now we can say, yes, we have an ISL championship race on us on the League Shield. Because FC Goa, with 7 games to go, have 4 points gap at the top. 2 Mohun Bagan Supergiant, the defending champions, and a run of unbeaten matches, 12 by now, which makes it really, really impressive to say the least. And I think that's why I would now at least say FC Goa are in the mix, are in the hunt for the title. So that makes it interesting, in my opinion. As always, let me know what you think. And as always, like, share, and subscribe to Arun Foot here on YouTube. Thank you always as your support. And yeah, let's keep on growing the community. And as I said, do leave a like behind, do leave a share behind, and also subscribe the channel. We're at 2,194 people who are now following and supporting the channel. So thanks once more for that. Story of the game, told quickly. Great first half by FC Goa, I have to say. I was really, really impressed the way that FC Goa played in the first 45. Was probably the best 45 minutes that FC Goa have played so far this season. And from that perspective, deserving win as well. But Chennaiyin had their chances in the second. And who knows, if Chennaiyin do score one, what happens? But again, goals from Ika Guruchena, typical opportunistic goal by Ika Guruchena. And the second one, Akash Sangwan, lovely pass from Karmikyu, which splits open the Chennaiyin defense, and Akash Sangwan places it past Mohammad Nawaz. And other chances as well in that first 45 for FC Goa. Could have scored more. Chennaiyin were better in the second half in this game, but overall, FC Goa controlled things, controlled affairs, and walked away with the 3 points. And they'll be very, very happy with that, and will now try and of course push Mohun Bagan Supergiant at the top of the table. FC Goa have a bigger break now. Only play next Sunday against Jamshedpur FC away, so they've got a big one coming up next Sunday against Jamshedpur FC. And FC Goa are in it, as said. And meanwhile, Mohun Bagan, of course, face BFC on Monday in Kolkata in what could be a very, very crucial one. So the next week could bring a little bit of clarity. If by any chance BFC win, FC Goa win as well, suddenly, theoretically, just a point ahead. Or even if it's a draw and FC Goa win, it's just 2. So therefore, Mohun Bagan need to start winning again to ensure their lead at the top. Hi, Yash Raj, welcome back. So that's the situation at the top of the table in the Indian Super League, so to say. And when we come to the ISL playoffs, the opportunities, in my opinion, are fading for Chennaiyin FC. Now they are on 18 points from 18 matches, 6 behind Odisha FC and Mumbai City FC, and a worse goal difference. So therefore, Chennaiyin, it will need an Owen Coyle miracle for them. And they've been also winless in a while. After the 3 draws in the recent past, now a loss. And therefore, for them, looks difficult. But again, Owen Coyle is there. So who knows what Owen Coyle and his team can really, really pull off in this Indian Super League season, because he's shown it again and again and again that he can pull it off with his sides, and that and therefore let's wait and see what really transpires, what really happens. And let me know what you guys think. Arnav says season over for Owen Coyle's side. Arnav, if it was any other team, if it was any other coach, I would totally agree with you, but it is Owen Coyle, so I give him a little bit of credit for what he has achieved over the years at Chennai and in Jamshedpur FC. So therefore, for me, don't count Owen Coyle out and don't count his team out. But if it goes normal, I agree with you. The season is over, and Chennai are out of anything that could be interesting in this league. So, but as I say, it's Owen, and his teams have pulled off miracles. Even last season, it looked like his team would not really make it, and therefore makes it interesting to see if they can, if they can make it really to the top. Hi Mayank, I am doing fine. Hope you are good as well. Any prediction for the Champions League? Oh, too early. It's with this new format, I think a lot of clubs are still settling in, and therefore let's wait and see. To me, I think if you're looking at the Champions League at the moment, you would most probably say Liverpool. You know, um, Liverpool Football Club are most probably the big favorites to win everything. But on the other side, let the other teams also perform. Let's see what they can do. So therefore, let's wait and see what happens. But too early in the season, and I think if the teams pull through, you know, and yeah, that's why let's let the knockouts begin, and then we'll talk about it. I think in March, April, the usual suspects come out of the wings. Meanwhile, Nastigor also in the mix for League Shield. Arnav, I said that, and I've tweeted about it as well today. Today was a key game, I think. If they had drawn or if they had lost, I would have said, looks tough. But with the run they've had, especially that defensive unit holding together of Uday, Sandesh Jingan, and in front of them, Carl McHugh, very, very key. And on the other side, also, Raul and Borges coming back, giving them a added stability. Guru Chena, unorthodox striker, is something to me which is also of some value to FC Goa, and Akash Sangwan playing better and better. So that's Boris in there in the mix. Goa look good, and Goa's football looks good, and this is something which I can't say about Mohun Bagan at the moment, where I know what my friends are saying at Mohun Bagan, that they're bottling it, but again, they still have quality. So it's going to be interesting what they do on Monday, because I said Mohun Bagan not winning on Monday opens up the league. So therefore, that's interesting. More than 20 state FAs, no conference motion against Kalyan Chowk. What do you think about this news? Yes. Let's put it into perspective. 20 state FAs are considering to put out no confidence motion in regard to the president. So nothing so far has happened. We will have to wait and see, I would say, at the moment. Because I was speaking about it a little earlier on Curious Harry on Hiren's channel, that and I said very, very clearly, in my opinion, that this is this is something that could happen. Yeah, could happen, but doesn't need to happen. And therefore, we were very interested to see how it really progresses. Because, again, as I say, in my opinion, the state FAs could take action, should take action. Let's put it this way also, not rather could, should take action. But are they going to take that action? That's the big question, in my opinion. And therefore, we'll have to wait. And as I say, we'll have to wait and see what really happens, and if they're going to really do what is needed to remove the president of the All India Football Federation, or if the state FAs actually go in there and try and do it, and then they work out something. They have some formula, and then Kalyan Chaube stays on. So let's wait and see. The original report written by Dhiman Sarkar in the Hindustan Times, and then others following up. And from that perspective, I would say could happen. And let's wait and see. I would say let's wait and see, because again, knowing these state associations, so let's see. This Champions League format is way more interesting and intense. Do you like the new format, or is it too much football for you? Mank, I like the format. I always say, in whatever format you play, I think always the league also is um, more more honest and even than these small four groups, for groups of four teams, home and away. But this one, you're facing 8 teams, 4 home, 4 away. It gives a more realistic outview on how good or how bad you are in this overall league table. So that makes it very, very interesting. And this format is going to grow. I think this format is going to grow, and maybe they'll reduce the number of rounds of knockouts down the road. So therefore, for my opinion, I like the format. It needs to continue, and work needs to be put into it to improve it. But the UEFA Champions League in this format, or even Europa League, or the Conference League, the format is better. Mank says Mohun Supergiant will likely win this league with record points. Only FC Goa can come close to them, but the quality Mohun Supergiant possess, they are winning it. Mank, if you'd said this 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, I would have agreed on that they're going to win it. Record points, I'm not sure, because they've had quite a number of draws in between now, and they have quality, but they're not showing it. I think the last 2 games, theoretically, Mohun could have won it, but they could have also lost it. And Molina is a defensive-minded coach, but he has an attacking-minded team. And this, to me, is not adding up. This is, to me, is something where I'd say, you know what, the team needs to play a little different kind of football, and therefore that is something, that Mohun Bagan Supergiant are the favorites. Let's wait and see. So, hi Manolo, how did you like my team performance today? Manolo, first half, the best of FC Goa this season. Intensity, the urgency, the quality, amongst the best we've seen in a while in the Indian Super League. Second half, FC Goa was managing it, and to me is, if Chennaiyin a little bit more clinical, then we might have had a match on our hands. And in my opinion, FC Goa deserved to win. So therefore, there's no doubt about it. Do you think the Goa is in shield race, or still Mohun Bagan is the only contender? Shobik, I said today will be an important day, and that it depends on what Goa do. I've said, and I repeat, if FC Goa lose or draw, clear-cut advantage Mohun Bagan Supergiant. But if they win, because FC Goa continue that positive momentum that they've built over the last few weeks and months, and I have to say, then they're in it. So for me, now FC Goa is in it. And Mohun Bagan need to start winning games. I think that's the big problem, right? Mohun Bagan winning games on a regular basis. And therefore, suddenly, to me, we have a league race and league shield race, sorry, I should say. And it's interesting also, because think about it. At the start of the season, we were discussing FC Goa, and if Manolo really can handle both, club and country, should Goa fire him and all that stuff. And he's come a long way from that shaky start that they had. Injury, of course, to Sandesh Shingan. Things changed quite a bit. If BSC winning its Mohun Bagan Supergiant, then can Bangalore FC come back into shield race? In theory, of course, yes. Mm, if you ask me, um, I would still say no, because BFC has been too inconsistent since that great start. They're still living off those first 6 matches where they got 16 points. If you if you take those 16 points away and you add a few draws and losses in there, BFC would be, would be most probably behind the first six. And to me, so that BFC's inconsistency has been their biggest failure. So therefore, for me, um, yeah, again, in theory, yes, but beating Mohun Bagan at home is anyway a problem. And then, Jovanovic, red card, and all those things could also play a role. Let's see if BFC can do that, because BFC's done more wrong than right over the last few matches. Is Vishnu ready for national team? No, Manolo. I don't think so. I don't think that he is ready for the national team or should be anywhere near the national team. Brilliant goal yesterday, no doubt about it. But that is, again, from his side, brilliant, but it showcases the lack of brilliance on the side of Sachin Suresh and that of Kuru. But I don't know what, from a physical aspect, I feel he's still too weak. And we've got too many of these wingers who potentially can play football but don't have that physical aspect to them for international football, and therefore we've got too many of those, right? Even Jitin and all these guys add to that international football demands something more from you, and you need that angle. And no, I've never rated him highly. Sorry, I've said that. I've been saying that for the last 2 years. East Bengal fans don't like that me saying that, but that's the reality. And if he plays national team, it just shows you how bad Indian football is at the moment. Sorry. So big news from AIFF. Ochut, hi, welcome, good afternoon. Yeah, uh, let's see what happens. I think it's a very, very interesting piece of news that has come out via media reports, starting with that from Dhiman Sarkar in the Hindustan Times, and then others taking on that report. It's raises, of course, a lot of questions in regard to the AIFF and what's happening within the federation. Would be interesting if 20 state affairs, you need a minimum of 12 out of the 36 coming together to raise a question and start a no confidence motion vote against any official of the federation in the exco. But again, a lot of them will say, yes, I am against XYZ, but when the hour has arrived, will they actually stand up and do what is needed? So therefore, that is something that one has to see. Can we say Owen Coyle exposed a foreigner standard not up to level? Murali, I think Chennaiyin have some of the best foreigners in the league. If I look at Edwards, if I look at Connor Shields, Wilmer Jordan, I think you have a problem with the Indians, and also with some of the tactics that Owen Coyle plays, and therefore I think it's more on the coach than on the players. Is FC Goa gameplay a more of a team game, not like individual brilliance like Superjan? Yes, 100%. And that is what has been the quality of I was about to say Owen Coyle, Owen Coyle in the past, but at the moment of Manolo Marquez and his side, FC Goa, you think, okay, they're dependent on Armando Sadiku. Armando Sadiku goes out, and then Guru Chena comes in. Borja Herrera has its moments. Drasic has its moments. That attacking line option. But then at the back, it is really Ode, it is Sandesh, it is Carl McHugh in that defensive midfield. And therefore, yes, that makes them strong. And Mohun Bagan normally lives of the brilliance of a McLaren, of a Cummings, of a Stewart, and of course the individual brilliance at the back of Alberto Rodriguez and as well as Tom Aldred. So therefore, that's the difference, and therefore, yeah, and FC Goa have a run. I think that's very, very important. But do not forget, last season, one injury, Sandesh got injured, Victor Rodriguez got injured, so 2 injuries, and FC Goa fell apart. So that's the danger that I see, not only with FC Goa but also with potentially Mohun Bagan. If there's an injury to Aldred or to Rodriguez, then they could face problems at the back. And so let's wait and see what happens. I think Mohan and Supergiant will defend because FC Goa has a tendency to bottle everything towards the end. Most of the season they come so close, still can't win. Sure, you're right. But again, it is something interesting, at least now that that FC Goa are winning games and are at least closing in a little bit towards the top of the table. I think that's a good sign for the league, that they are at least getting a little closer to the top, and yeah, and that's something which we shouldn't forget. And therefore, let's wait and see what other things they can do. But as I said, still advantage Mumbai Super Giant, but FC Goa are now in it. 4 points with 7 games to go, and both of these teams playing each other. If they can keep it less than three, they can turn it around themselves. Do you think Constantine underrated coach because people criticize for long ball, but in result he can achieve other say possession football ended in mess? Yeah, 100%. Stephen is a practical coach. Stephen plays what he thinks is right, be it with the national team, be it also at East Bengal, and yeah, he's never been rated the way he should be. FC Goa could have won league if Jingan didn't get injured last year. The decline started after Asia Cup again after Jingan got injured. Yeah, that injury, and I said the injury of Victor Rodriguez, and therefore that's the danger of most ISL teams. If you have one or two injuries to key players, um, it just doesn't allow you to settle down, and that's the danger. They are dependent, and again, injuries to foreigners, of course, especially. So therefore, I'm interested to see how Goa handle things, and if, as mentioned by the others, if they will bottle it again, or if they can turn things around, and but again, they're in it now. At least as of today, they're in it. We might have a different conversation next week if, let's say, Mohun win and FC Goa lose at Jamshedpur. Suddenly, that's again, a bigger gap, and we'll see what happens. In my opinion, Chennai FC could have brought in Chima Chuku a bit earlier, says Ochut. Yeah, could have. But again, Owen also conservative in his approach, and therefore, yeah, that's the way it is. Punjab FC has not been able to go back to how they started the season. Ochut 100%. Punjab FC is a very good example of good first 11, even first 11 with potential, but your bench is too weak. They've had injuries and suspensions, and that has derailed. What I was talking about FC Goa applies to, as I say, to most of the league, that you can really cover up. The failures of Mumbai City this season are surely the injuries. If you had less injuries, and if, let's say, Kareli scored 3, 4, 5 goals more, Mumbai City would be there where they have been in the last few years. So that's small little things make a lot of differences in this league, and therefore Punjab FC have not been able to also play with that sort of confidence, right, that they had at the start of the season. Therefore, they are where they are at the moment, and they've got the least number of matches. So potentially, they still have a chance to sneak into the top six. And that brings me to a video that I did earlier today on the top six, the ISL top six race. Gave my sort of view, on that topic. Do watch it. Do also watch the other videos that I make on a daily thing. Tomorrow I'll make something on Kalyan Chaube, and yeah. What should be East Bengal's now, according to you, as our top six chances are almost over? Shovik, first, still try, I would say. That's the first thing, never give up. The second thing is already put a little bit of focus on your team in regard to the FC Challenge League knockouts. It's going to be at the end of next month. That's going to be the question is, can they get something out of it? And therefore, for me, that's going to be the question for East Bengal FC. Can they prepare for that continental tournament? And what can they do? East Bengal are set to play Arkadag, facing them on the 5th and 12th of March. So still some time. But again, East Bengal's got to play a lot of games around those dates. So therefore, let's wait and see how Oscar Bruzon forces that. Even an injury suspension to the foreign centre backs can destroy Mohun Bagan despite all the bench strength they have. Babalus, I spoke about it last week around the Jamshedpur game, and I realized that bench isn't as great as we all think. We saw against Chennai, Molina rested, listened, the much criticized Liston Golasso, the much criticized Manveer Singh. And despite certain people praising Sohail Bhatt, but sorry to me, Sohail Bhatt is not ISL material at the moment. And he proved that to me on that match day. And therefore, therefore, as you say, injury or suspension to foreign centre backs at Mohun Bagan could have a grave impact. But the same applies to every team in the Indian Super League at the moment. So therefore, in long-term injuries could derail your whole plans to one or two players, and therefore the teams need to really be careful. What are the basic requirements for stadium which Punjab has not been able to fulfill in Punjab? Karunesh, there are basic requirements in regard to capacity. There are basic requirements in regard to dressing rooms, media facilities, topic of toilets, accessibility, and all those kind of things. And again, they want a stadium. They just don't want a ground which you see now a lot in the I League. Like a lot of these clubs are now using grounds which are mainly one-stand grounds. So yeah, let's wait and see. But that's those amazing. Also, how much does it take to build a mid-sized stadium from scratch in India? Karunesh, no one's doing it. So the problem is mainly the land, right? Land acquisition is very often a problem. If you're going to put in a proper stadium, how much is going to cost? Well, I don't know, 200, 250 crores to build a proper stadium, right? Teams like East Bengal, Kerala Blasters FC, HNRC should end season a positive note and go with full strength for Super Cup. Yeah, could be Babalus. But again, it will be interesting to see. Interesting also to see that both Kerala Blasters and Hyderabad FC so far have not actually brought in a replacement coach. So that's an interesting one. If the league is really looking at it and has not said anything, said, guys, do you really want to continue with your interim coaching coaches, or do you when will you bring in someone? It's also, at least for me, that's an interesting observation that I've had in the last few weeks. And and therefore that's something which we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I agree with you, so therefore, let's see. Good evening, Dark Knight. Welcome back to the channel. Manolo winning Shield, says Zoravar. Zoravar, too early to say. As I said earlier, to me, could be, could not be. Today was a turning point. Goa is now for me in the championship race. But with the title, I think that depends. For example, the next week is very interesting. Mohun Bagan Monday against BFC. That's one. And on the other side, are they able to face FC Goa travel to Jamshedpur next Sunday? Big match for the Goas, and not easy venue to go. So therefore, for me, it's an interesting one, and therefore we'll see what happens. But let's see. We'll see. But Manolo surely is in with a chance, and let's see if he wins the league shield with FC Goa or not. According to news, all state FA have turned against Kalyan Chaubey will get removed. So rather, not all state FAs, according to the report, they are against confidence motion. I am not sure how this will work out, because knowing how the AIFF operates, how things within the AIFF operate, it could be also that that the state FAs play safe. Now, if you call them up and ask them, listen, I am against the president. Are you with us? Are you against us? They say, I'm with you. And then when the president or someone in the name of the president calls up and says, listen, guys, are you for me? Are you against me? They might say, listen, I am for you. I am for the president. No, don't worry about me and all that stuff. So therefore, these are all political plays at the moment. It's also question is, are these infos planted in the media by someone or the other? I'm not sure. There's been a lot of talk. I know that there's been quite a bit of unhappiness with Kalyan Chaubey for a while, but again, no action has been taken so far. So that's also a reality of things that we have and face in Indian football. So therefore, we'll have to wait and see what happens within the All India Football Federation. But again, yes, as the reports started by Dhiman Sakar in the Hindustan Times, and then others like Anshuman in the Telegraph and others have followed. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But there is certainly some conversations are going on in the background. But if something will happen, let's see. If we could defend a Super Cup, then I think that will give us confidence for next season. At least we're taking something positive from the season. What's your take? Shovik, I would not agree to it, because to me, this season is a failed season. Whatever happens after this for East Bengal, even if let's, for example, they win the AFC Challenge League, East Bengal has been doing well in cup competitions for a while, but they're failing in the league. And to me, the league, as I said, the European UEFA Champions League, I come back also to that when I talk about the Indian Super League. The Indian Super League is the most important thing for you. Of course, continental things is a bonus. Super Cup to me is a bonus, but your league is or should be your bread and butter. So from that perspective, a failed season, failed strategy, a lot of problems, a lot of issues. And if they win the Super Cup, you again gloss over all these problems, all these issues. You think you seem to know, yes. So therefore, for me, better to have a proper scrutiny. Again, they will not do it. I know that, but that should be the way to do it. Kerala Blasters CEO and sporting director came on an hour-long podcast on YouTube trying to save face and clear air with fans. Pavlos, I've heard about it. I've not heard it so far. I've heard about it. Roshan was asking about it as well yesterday. Let me see in the coming days, So let's see where it is. Yesterday, India U20 lost 6-1 against Syria U20. Your opinion? So, Robert, first of all, it's a under 18 actually that we send. And I said that also yesterday on the show. I said it today on Hiren's channel as well. In my opinion, it is about the exposure for the boys. And from that perspective, and don't bother about the results, because these are boys playing against men. And it was clear to me that we are inferior to 3 nations who are all preparing for the AFC U20 Cup next month. Our boys are preparing for the SAF Under-19 Championship in May. So I take that exposure, take a 6-1, 7-1, 8-1, whatever the results are. Just, you're getting quality opponents. Don't take anything else as something. Right, already 34 minutes in on this Saturday evening live on arunfoot. If you haven't, do leave a like behind. If you're liking what you're hearing, what you're seeing, share it with other people so that other people can join. Only 4 likes so far. I think we can do better on this. And if you want to come back for regular content to arunfoot, do leave a subscription behind. At the moment, we are at 2,194 subscriptions. So thanks a lot for that, everybody. Again, we're slowly growing as a community, as a family. So thanks a lot for that. And also do look up the other content that I try and make on a daily basis. Today, I did a video on the ISL 6-spot race. Yesterday, I'd given, some of the things that I would like to see in the winter transfer window. Before that, of course, in the juniors facing Indonesia, Syria, and Jordan. Mohammedan Sporting with the crisis, FC Goa, League Shield race challenges, via BFC bottling it. So again, Mohun Bagan's favorite. So look, look through. There are a lot of videos in there. If you haven't watched it, do watch it. And thanks as always for your support. East Bengal asked question on refereeing what last match they get benefit of referee. Your thoughts, please. ST, there is no issues that East Bengal can or should raise. Uh, you know, um, because as I always have stated, today you might get something, uh, you might like the result that goes in your favor. Tomorrow it might not go in your favor because of these mistakes. And there is no revolution coming where suddenly our referees are going to be much better. VAR is quite far away. No one wants to put the money in. We have issues with, with the foreign referees. Again, I myself helped the AIFF many years back to get a German referee, a Bundesliga referee, to come and officiate in the ISL for 3 games. All of these things cannot be funded. So therefore, let's be realistic. We'll have to live. The referees are better now, I feel, than they were 2, 3 years ago, but they're not there where they need to be. But to say that referees are biased, to put up a banner saying that, Mr. Goenka is controlling the system and all that stuff and paying off people is ridiculous, because it belittles a club of the size of East Bengal club. Rather focus on your own mistakes. This whole thing is just a huge distraction. It's a huge smokescreen of the failures at East Bengal FC, that the club officials, that the sporting management have been making mistakes year on year. And they should also not forget, East Bengal FC are the second highest spenders in the Indian Super League, period. That is another reality. East Bengal is spending nearly, not nearly, they are spending more than all other teams except Mohun Bagan. So you can't be behaving like you're poor beggars and you're some small team from some small place in India. No, and therefore blame it on the referees. Listen, and most of the allegations of mistakes from referees are not there. I think every team um, against Kerala Blasters was clearly evident that there were 2 key mistakes. Against the Blasters, there were mistakes, and I remember in the Mumbai City game, which went for East Bengal, but again Mumbai City did win in the end. Therefore, these things are all, and it's very, very poor of East Bengal club, of East Bengal fans, or any other fans. Yes, they are making mistakes. I also called out the other day Parth Jindal for his, talking about refereeing mistakes against BFC. Very, very poor. Do your work. Do you support your club? But this negativity spiral that a lot of people are in is not helping Indian football. And also on Parth, I would say, listen, why aren't you working on creating better young talent for Indian football, right? You're spending a lot on infrastructure and other things, but you're not producing better players. That is a reality. We are producing worse players today than we were producing 10, 12, 15 years ago. And 10 years ago, BFC was not producing players. So focus on that rather than just simply bashing referees. It is not helping the system. What about the Indian Olympic Association with PT Usha and Chobe? I heard rumors is there as well. Yeah, they've been at loggerheads for a while over there. PT Usha is a loggerhead not only with Kalyan Chobe, but generally with the executive committee, with the government as well. And if things go bad, the IOC might ban the IOA in India. So they are indirectly in the same boat as the AIFF. It's a problem. It's a huge problem. So therefore, I hope we sort those things out. But again, India and sports at the moment, yeah, can be sometimes very challenging. You're right. We are league should be the top priority. We are zero in the league for the last 20 plus years. Shovik, and that's my point. That's the sad part. 2004 was the last time East Bengal won the league. That was NFL in those days. East Bengal, the year before, won the ASEAN Club Cup. East Bengal were a big team at the change of the millennium. But since those days, so yeah, those are realities. And again, Bengal doesn't want to accept that. East Bengal club officials don't want to accept that. Look at Mohammedan Sporting as well. Look at even what happened this Saturday at Mohun Bagan Athletic Club. I think Kolkata Maidan football is not understood that we have actually moved on from there, and that is a big problem. I think too many problems have cropped up in the last 2 years regarding AIFF and the state of affairs. Which they were always there in some sort of form or way, but they've made things worse in the last 2 years. I think that's the thing. Rather than moving forward, we've moved backwards. That is the real problem I feel that Indian football faces. Why we are where we are at this moment, because we're not that we're not the best in the world. I think was or should have been clear to everyone around us. But now we're playing in a way, now things are happening in a certain way where you think, oops, where are we? Why are we here? And yeah, it's a weird scenario in my opinion, and it makes it very complex as well. So therefore, yeah, it is not, at least not to my liking, and therefore these last 2+ years from an AFF and from an Indian football perspective is lost time, in my opinion. But if they lose with such margins, will these nations again invite Indian future? Rather, this is about relationships, right? This is not always about how good or how bad we are. Um, to me, but the AFF, the top brass doesn't have those relationships, which the old AFF had very, very good relationships. So therefore, for me, that is that. And yeah, let's wait and see. We've had also other teams bringing inferior teams to India for matches and for competitions. It does sometimes happen, so therefore I don't take that too seriously. But again, if you have the relationships, you can work with others. That works. Please love and like the content, very relevant to Indian football. Thank you, SD, for this support. As always, yeah, like and share. Let's grow the community. Let's talk. Let's have honest, open conversations on Indian football, on what is happening, what is not happening, what should be happening, what should not be happening. Sometimes very difficult, of course, in an Indian football context with all that is happening at the moment, or rather, should be happening. And yeah, it is a challenge. It's a challenge, and I think we all need to work whatever we do and can to grow Indian football. And at least I'm trying my little bit. In fact, the score could easily be 9-1 had Syria 20 lowered their tempo in second half. Yeah, if Syria hadn't lowered their tempo, Rava, yeah, 8, 9, 10 could have been possible. But again, it is exposure for our boys, and take it, learn from it, and then try and be better in the next tournament. East Bengal fans once again showed a tifo mocking referees, showing Goenka paying referees. Don't you think Goenka should file a defamation case against them? No, I think Zoravar, I think the best way is that if Mohun Bagan Supergiant actually send out a statement to the AIFF, to FSDL, as organizers of the ISL, and say, look into this matter. If you don't look into it, then I will file a defamation case. That would be my route, follow the procedure. I know people rather go to court, and rather than looking at how you should do it, in my opinion, you should rather try and stay within football and try and solve it within football rather than going into the open world. And from that perspective, I think that would be, in my opinion, the better route. And yeah, and again, I think Mohammad Supergiant should reach out to AFF and should reach out to FSDL to raise this topic, and potentially even maybe send out feelers to FIFA and AFC, because this falls under yeah. So therefore, that's something could be looked at as well. But I don't know if they're going to do it. Would East Bengal be able to bring in so many players without the prospect of Asian qualification, or is it just spending? It's just Bolus. It is spending. It is, again, Asian qualification or not. Players, we've talked about it. The Indian footballers care about money, right? And again, they don't care if they're going to make, I don't know, going to play here or going to play there. They're looking at the money side. If East Bengal is paying enough money, they can get. I mean, yeah, a lot of these young players, why are they signing for East Bengal or for a Mohun Bagan, or even, some of the youngsters going to Mumbai City or to Goa or to BFC, to Chennai, and to Blasters, where you think, maybe you should stay another season in the second tier I League and then come up, right? Because it's all about money. Uzbek kid in starting lineup today against Chelsea. Oh, Kuzanov is in the lineup. Let me just once see what Man City are doing with their lineups. 1 second. Oh, interesting to see who are the starting players. Just as a update, Bournemouth 5-0 against Nottingham Forest. Wow, Forest third in the table. Bournemouth also impressing this season. Brighton 0-1 against Everton. Still match on. Liverpool 4-1 against Ipswich Town. Southampton lose 1-3 to Newcastle, and Arsenal win 1-0 against Wolverhampton Wanderers. And we look at lineups. Yeah, Ederson, Akanji, Kusanov, Guardiol, and Mateus Nunes, Kovacic, and Gundogan defensive midfield, Bernardo Silva, Omar Mamouche, and Phil Foden in attack. And before them, as a striker, Eric um, Holland. So, not bad. Omar Mamouche, Kusanov directly making it onto the field, and Vitor Rice is on the bench. So, let's see. Let's see what City can do. You watch India's football match. We didn't win a single match for more than a year. Shove, guess, yeah, I did. I do. I have been watching, and it was disappointing last year, to say the least. 2024 was, in my opinion, the biggest disappointment when it comes to Indian football because, yeah, we just couldn't win a game, and that was the disappointing thing, in my opinion, that we just didn't get it together. And Igor Stimac then went, Manolo came in, but the problems, the difficulties are so big in Indian football that this team has not been able to win matches. So therefore, yeah, we are where we are, and hopefully we can turn things around in 2025, and we can start winning games and be competitive again. I think that's the most important. Be competitive again. We see the passion, the will, the desire of the team, of the players to be able to win matches, because that's our biggest challenge, I think, in 2025. Indian football need grassroots in all over India, include Northeast India. Tripurasa vlog, 100%. Yeah. So to me, interesting, in some parts of the Northeast, you have better grassroots than in other parts of India. Mizoram has, in some places, a very, very robust grassroots system. Manipur, despite all its problems, you have certain things. You have it in Meghalaya. Arunachal Pradesh has started a lot of things. Northeast United is trying to do things in Assam and in other states as well. Yeah, and I hope that in your state, in Tripura, also, things happen, and football grows. Question: do you think this exposure matches help the kids when their basics are not good enough? Um, I I think yes. Uh, I think every match against a good and uh, a bad team is exposure, but especially exposure against superior opposition also for the coach opens up a lot of conversations, because you physically see, you observe that, where are your mistakes. Again, this video study after the game, hopefully, which happens, you've got a lot of things to talk to the players, right? So to me, therefore for me, it is something very, very simple, and you know um, so therefore, yes, such an exposure trip for these 17, 18-year-old boys is good, because it gives everyone, you should have known beforehand, I think, but I don't know if they did. So therefore, for them, yeah, they've been doing it. For how many years has Uzbekistan been working hard? 15, 20 years? Blues, I think working hard, they've been since independence, since 1991. They had players, also Uzbek players in Soviet Union times, playing for the Soviet Union. So Tashkent as a city, and Bakhtakor and all are big football teams. And But I think the real focus at the talent end, at the club end, most probably is, yeah, not even 15, yeah, not less than 15 years old. I would have said about 2014, 2015, they started really to focus a lot, and players of Kuzanov's caliber are now coming through the system. So that's the thing that they've changed. Goa will win Shield and will play in Asia without Manolo. Interesting. Manolo, you're going 5 steps ahead without um, looking at what you need to do. In my opinion, FC Goa first need to win the ISL, um, and then think about the League Shield. And they're not top of the table. Mohun Bagan still are. They are win with a shot, but yeah, if it happens, it happens, and if it happens, whoever is going to be the new coach. There's been quite a bit of talk about that as well. I think that who could be replacing Manolo in the summer. Let's wait and see what happens, right? FC Goa on a very, very good run, but they are the challenger to the champions, Mohun Bagan, and therefore let's wait and see what happens. It'll be very interesting. Um, yeah, and hopefully we will have a cracker of a game towards the end of the season. And because that is what I think. And let me see what I was wanting to look at towards the end of the season. Um, yeah, Mohun Bagan's final game is on March the 8th against FC Goa. March the 8th on the Saturday is the last game, and yeah, so therefore very interesting to see if that game is gonna decide the title or not, or if it's sorted beforehand. Saw the match yesterday. These kids still struggle to pass. They were trying just long passes against those tall Syrian players, and whenever pressed, they lose possession. Majority of the passes were back passes. Um, yeah, isn't that a general problem of Indian players? Isn't that a general problem even that we see in the ISL, that you want to get rid of the ball or pass it to a foreigner, let him take care of the ball, and I don't have anything to do with it. I think that's a general problem we face, right? So therefore, from that perspective, that happens, and yeah, and therefore, you know. Um, it shows where we are struggling at youth level. With We're talking about just simple basics about how to build up and play. I'm not even talking about complex things of creating triangles, or even creating the squares and playing the ball amongst you, short passes and all that stuff. Those people who want to play possession football with Indian footballers at this stage, very, 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 very difficult. Hi Vikram, good to hear from you. I am doing fine, and you wanted to ask about Danish Farouk of Kerala Blasters FC. Is a good player. Vikram, Danish is again one of those. Had more hope, promise in him, because Danish Farouk has one advantage compared to a lot of other players, and that's physicality, solid, strong. But then you see his tackles, timing, understanding of the game. I would say typical Indian football in the year 2025. I think that's our problem with Danish and with a lot of other players as well, that we should be better, but they aren't, right? Danish Farouk is another player who's, in my opinion, not taken that next step. Uh, you know, um, so therefore that is something. Yeah. How is Syria improving? Are they heavily investing in grassroots like Uzbekistan? Zoravar, you do know that Syria has been at war with itself for the last 13 years. So there is no heavy investment in grassroots. It's just, listen, they don't even have basic infrastructure. It's about coaching. It's about desire and will and learning. Of course, they use players of origin as well, right? That is something that has helped them as well. Top Syrian players leave the country to play abroad. So therefore, from that perspective, they have done what we do, and what we don't do, right? So therefore, for me, that is something which is yeah. So um, I mean, they have in this squad a player coming out of the youth of Hertha BSC Berlin in Germany. You've got another one who plays at Järfälla in Sweden. You have someone who's playing at Al Wassel in the Emirates. You have someone who plays at Aalborg BK in Denmark. So they are, even at youth level, they've got a lot of players. Or here, Maxim Saraf plays at CSK Moscow. They're pulling up a lot of players of origin Hossan Osman playing at the Graafschap in the Dutch league, and that's quality, right? So Hossan Osman, for example, playing under 20s, is now at Nijmegen in the Netherlands, has already played once for the senior national team, you know. So, and these are refugee kids. Huh? These are refugee kids who left Syria and came to Europe, to Europe. So that's something which you say. What do you say, Sadiq was saying about Indian player, they aren't passionate. They say it's okay if we don't get selected national team. Vikram, I sadly have to say, finally someone said it, because this is what I've been thinking for a while. It's a hard-hitting interview, but Armando Sadiku is a very good example of someone, and not only him generally, but Albanians are like that they, if they've got a chance, they will do everything they can to play for their national team. And Armando Sadiku said that. Armando Sadiku said that I would do whatever I can to be representing my national team, and he doesn't see it in his Indian teammates. And it is a sad, it's a sad reflection of our football, but it's the reality. He's spot on. Sadly, that's what I'm saying. Sadly, I have to agree with him on that. But Amanda Sadiq spot on what I said, and that should be for you and for me and for everybody else who likes or loves Indian football. Should be a disturbing fact that we are talking about this. That a foreigner has to tell us that that these are the realities, and then a lot of people are surprised or shocked by that statement. And I think, like Amanda Sadiq has just said, what we all should know or think. I think that we should all be knowing that this is the reality of Indian football, because it shows in the national team. There are players in the national team who know that their market value depends on the national team. That's why they're playing for the national team. They don't want to. Some of them don't want to be there, and you see that in their game. That's, for me, a big problem in Indian football at the moment. Danish Farouk, example of player playing at a higher level due to hype. He's I-League level player. However, if Danish Farouk is I-League level player, it's the same thing. We've discussed it with other players as well. That's a problem. Most of the players playing in the ISL are not ISL level players these days. Again, if PV Vishnu is being linked to the Indian national team, it speaks very, very poorly of our standard, because I don't think PV Vishnu is an ISL level player. But see how he's rated at the moment. So these are all realities. How can we forward in football players things like this? End is near. Vikram, it is all about money. It's not a football problem. I think it's a society problem in India. I was talking on Hiren's channel earlier today about it. That for example, at grassroots youth level, most of the coaches, 70-80% of coaches, are non-paid. Could be fathers who are spending their free time to coach kids at grassroots level. In India, even the last coach somehow or the other gets paid, because it's a job. So the question is to me, are you committed to your job in the way you should be? Or is it better that, you are spending your free time and trying to do something which you like, which you love? I think that's the biggest problem, right? Lalrinzwala Lal Biatna is the top scorer in I-League for second time on trot. Indian football fans, as usual, are hyping him for national team. Do you consider him even near national team level? No, Zorav, I don't. Just see the goals that he's scoring, or just see the goals were scored yesterday in some of those games. It's hilarious. It just shows you how bad defensively the I-League at the moment is. That is should be our conversation. The quality in the I-League is shocking, right? To me, that is a very, 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 very worrying sign. If I see the I-League and look at the quality, that even in Interkashi, if you've got players injured and they now, again, people tell me, oh, you know what, the scheduling is bad, we've got too many matches, blah, 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 blah. I said, yeah, but again, it's on the AIFF, because the AIFF lost a month and also knew that you guys didn't work in advance with the AIFF to sort it out and sort out your scheduling. This is a scheduling issue. The I-League's disaster at the moment is a scheduling issue, nothing more and nothing less. And but the quality is a general. If the quality in the ISL is a problem, then the I-League is a second tier. Then the quality is an even bigger issue. People are telling me about referees. I said, if the best referees in India are in the ISL, right? And they're making mistakes. Then don't you think that in the I League, then there will be referees who are going to be a little worse than them, or even much worse than them, than the ones who are officiating in the ISL? Let's not even go to the local state leagues and local games and how good or bad they are, right? This is a reality. And that is my concern, that we don't want to believe in the realities that Indian football finds itself in, because we love to, talk around, do things, brilliant, great, whatever, blah, blah, what is. No, we aren't. And is my concern of where Indian football stands in this year 2025. If we don't rectify things now, if we don't rectify, you know, if we don't rectify things tomorrow or day after, we are losing time. It is our time. It is Indian football's opportunities which are lost. Nobody else. That is what we need to learn. Right, already over an hour in this Saturday night football discussion, or Indian football discussion, I should correctly say. If you haven't, but you're liking the conversation, do like the video, share it with others, and yeah, subscribe as well. Let's check once quickly how we are doing with the likes, and 8 likes so far. Not doing too good, guys. I think we can do better. And we're at 2,194 subscriptions. So again, we're slowly growing. And do watch the other things as well on the channel. Again, I did something today on the top 6 race, which I find very interesting. And also, I'll be doing something on the AIFF issues surrounding Kalyan Chaube. Now, I don't think P. Vishnu is that overhyped. I won't say he's top 11 in national team, but he should be in bench. And therefore, Pranjal, you and I will not agree. I said 2 years ago, I don't think P. Vishnu should be playing ISL. Sorry. If P. Vishnu was a regular ISL player, that shows you how bad a standard is. And if you think that he should be in the national team, then you should understand how bad our level of football is. I'm on the verge of calling up Baichung Bhutia and Ranjit Singh and I don't know, Clifford Miranda and Climax Lawrence and others to come out of Mahesh Goli and Shubhrato Pala to come out of retirement and start playing for India again. Because at that age, they are better than these kids. See the BFC training videos where Renedy is showing stuff to the other players, and where Renedy's touch and passing is better than Suresh, Harsh Patre, this, that, everything. It's embarrassing. We have a huge lack of quality, and we need to talk about it. We don't. We want to gloss it over and think, oh, this guy's great, that's great. No, we're not. This is what we need to address. Otherwise, we're not going to get anywhere. East Bengal fans still consider P. Vishnu at national team level. Yeah. Yesterday's goal never, ever happens. If Sachin Suresh runs out at the right time, first of all, they have to stop that ball from Clayton. And if Koru does his job, why Koru, the ball is going like this, and Koru is going running like that. It's like, why? Right? That's the reality. Hi Rushabh, what's up with Candid Football? No confidence motion. Rushabh, there is nothing so far to talk about, except that yes, I think all state associations are unhappy with the leadership of the AIFF. If they weren't, then there would be something wrong, in my opinion. And to me, very, very clearly, Kalyan has done more wrongs than rights over the last 2+ years, and therefore we are in the situation we are in. And my question is, these kind of things don't run on logic. If we were running things on logic, then it is very easy to say the AIFF has failed, Kalyan Chaube has failed. Thank you very much. We move on. Very simple. It's not happening, right? In this case, it's not happening. So therefore, we are where we are, and therefore, let's see what the state associations do. Of course, they say 20 state associations that they are ready to do what they need to do. And if they do that, then gone. Your thoughts on Bryson? Has he been consistent? He's been better than the others. let's say if you ask me to compare Bryson with PV Vishnu, I would pick Bryson. I think Bryson is a little further down his development path and has more skill and talent, a little bit more thing. But again, Bryson to me hopefully will not turn out to be another Liston Colasso. But we saw at Mohun Bagan when you put out Liston Colasso and Manveer Singh that the replacements are even worse. So that is the lack of quality that we have in today's Indian football. Lorenzola needs to come to ISL so everyone finds out, can he do it in front of better defense. Pranjal, I can tell you now, let him come. He won't. It's like that David discussion. David has scored goals. Yes, look at against whom and how. If you're playing against four Indian defenders at Punjab FC, that Punjab FC defense is not worth even of playing in the I League. Sorry. That's the reality. Novo Selic makes such a difference to that defense. And we've seen that, as I said, again and again, two or three players, especially in that defensive unit, makes a difference. If Mumbai City had a striker who would have scored them 15 goals, Mumbai City most probably would be top of the table. But again, sorry. So that has been a problem. And then another problem is, to me, we need to be realistic of how good they are, because no I League striker has come to the ISL and set the ISL on fire, right? Also a reality. Sachin Suresh is the worst upcoming keeper in ISL at the moment. Yeah, Zoravar. But that's the problem, right? That's why the Blasters supposedly are looking for an experienced keeper in the summer. I think they now know that they should have kept Karanjit and not released Karanjit, right? Because Som Kumar, again, a very good example, talented keeper, training in Slovenia, trying to do his stuff, offered a crazy salary. That's why he's come back to India. So there suddenly the boy is stuck and come here and like, okay, let's try and do something, and it's not working, right? It's not working for him. So therefore, yeah, let's wait and see. And I saw Sachin Suresh 2 years ago in the Kerala Premier League, and I felt impressed. Him. There was this defender who now plays at Inter Kashi, Orithro Das, Azhar, Ayman, Nihal Sudesh. Looked interesting. I remember what Lord Steamer said a couple of years ago. These players in the training are Messi's, Ronaldo's, and Maradona's, but they disappear when it comes to actual games. Yeah, but you have those kind of players, Rishabh, that are world champions in training. I remember at Mumbai City, we had a couple of players where you thought, you know what, these players could be considered to go abroad in the future, and in matches, sadly, never performed. And that happens. And that's for you to recognize. If you've got these, training world champions, as people call them in Europe, there's a saying, if there are training world champions and there are real world champions. You then have to either improve those players to be able to play in the matches, or you have to take them out. And Stimac didn't do those things. Do you think Indonesia's success contributed by PAO major role? Can we say China PAO didn't live up to expectation? Yes, Indonesia 100%, and China doesn't utilize PIOs in football. It has rather naturalized a few foreigners here and there, but not that much. So therefore, the comparison doesn't work. Bryson, Vikram, Colasso, PV Vishnu, Kuru rank on skill level. I know they have nothing, but still in ISL level. Liston Colasso, Vikram, Bryson, Vishnu Kuru would be my listing. I still don't know what, what Kuru is young, yes. Again, I don't know his real age, so that's another conversation we could have. But that's the if you on it, if you come up with this list and listing Colasso is at the top, then we already have a problem. I always say Liston Colasso to me is a poor Romeo Fernandez or a poor Anthony Pereira who used to play 20 years ago or 20 years ago. Right? So, yeah. But the state affair are worse in terms of corruption than Kalyan Chaube. So, Ravar, what level of corruption? There is not much money. Where is the corruption? Right? People tell me corruption here, and they're like, there's no money in the system for corruption. The money is with the clubs. It's not with the AIFF or with the state associations. If you think When you talk about corruption, then you go and ask the clubs what's happening across the league. Just look at IFA. IFA where? Who? There is the IFA is just about surviving to run it, right? They are happy with every derby that they can play, that money comes in that they can spend on something or the other. Karanjit Singh, how good was he during his time? Murali, I remember seeing Karanjit in the I League playing for JCT donkeys years back. Good keeper, solid at Chennaiyin in his days, and a good backup also in the older days. But again, I think a lost chance to keep him. Today, current ISL who can play in Europe, obviously no one would take them, but still, like normally, no one. I challenge every Indian player, even national team players, to come here to Germany, to my city, Remscheid. FC Remscheid plays 6th division. We're a former Bundesliga 2 club. They now sadly play 6th tier. I think none of them would play. They would not be in the starting 11. That is our level of football, right? People talk about 2nd, 3rd, 4th tier. I say 6th tier Germany will be tougher because 90% of boys who play for our club used to either play under 17 or under 19 or maybe both youth Bundesligas. So their basics are good. Our players' basics are bad. I was shocked the way Kerala Blasters conceded the first goal by Vishnu, a Kerala defender, surprising out the ball to roll in. That could never be a goal. Most of myself, it just shows you the problem of the quality. You know, Kerala Blasters fans were sending Kuru to Europe. He was the worst player yesterday. Zoravar, we have different fan groups who are, again, let them make their own players heroes, but we also have to be honest enough about the quality of the players, of how good or how bad they are. And in my humble opinion, we've got a quality issue with our players. And this is something which we don't want to talk about, we don't want to discuss. And therefore, we're stuck in this sort of weird cycle of lack of quality, right? That a youngster like Kuru is playing is good for him, but I still don't know what the quality of the player is. Honestly, you could put in anybody else, and it doesn't. It's not a player that I say, boy, this is could be a future top player in the national team. You could put in XYZ player. It doesn't make sense. You could put in Ayman Azhar. Where are they? And I said 2 years ago, I did a little bit of commentary for the Kerala Premier League. Ayman Azhar were great. Sachin Suresh was great. Oritra Das, great. Nihal Sudesh, but all of them had a little bit here and there, and then they fizzle out. This is my biggest concern. You have your moment to shine, you can move up to the next level, and then either you stagnate or normally they come crashing down. Do you think difference between training pitch and real match the experience actually pressure and tempo is high? That's why they can't cope with it? No. Quality of pitch should never be an issue. And if you can't handle pressure, sorry, look for something else. Everybody in his or her job has pressure, right? So pressure, if you can't handle pressure in sports, it's a lost cause. Well said. If you come with that list, something is going wrong. Yeah, on it. That's the sad part, right? I mean, if I think just as left wingers, in 15 years ago, who would have spoken about? Oh, a little more, yeah, 15 years ago. We speak about Renedy, we speak about Clifford, we speak about Alvito, Ishfaq Ahmed. 4 guys were fighting for that one spot. Look at it now. Which uncapped players you think have performed well so far who might make it into the March squad? Rushabh, now at the moment, if I look at it, then we have to talk about Bryson. I think Bryson is one. Let's see. I would have said a month ago, Isaac Ralte should be looked at, but Isaac Ralte has been injured, so therefore that is out, and then it becomes difficult. Then honestly becomes difficult to say who should be having a look in. Again, goalkeepers across the board are having problems. As I've said, Vishal Keth, there is a trust issue of the national team coaches for whatever reasons. I don't know. And then we'll see. Roshan would have been someone that I say, hey, consistent, doing well. Even Roshan now is making mistakes, and his coach is losing his mind because of that. That's the brutal reality at the moment. How to improve, get AIFF money? Oinit, First of all, the AIFF needs to ensure that they get money at all. Their contract with Reliance runs out. Um, that's one. And two, the quality needs to improve. National team and club football. Otherwise, no one's going to give you extra money. There are no sponsors waiting to come and play. As I said earlier, Kuru won't even make it to first 11 of a fifth, sixth division European League. Zoravar, he won't even make it in the seventh or eighth because people will work on him physically. This is one thing people, a PV Vishnu, even I would know what to do. And I'm not that young. I would not go onto that, I would ensure that he doesn't get past me. It's physicality. These guys are physically weak. They can be pushed around. They can be shoved around. The international football is brutal. That's why I also said, Isaac is another one. I like the player. I've liked him for a while. And, but that's the question. Same thing with Jitan MS. Do you see any problem politician running football body or intention matters? Intention matters. It's not a question of politicians running a federation. It is a reality of Indian sports that a politician somehow needs to be involved because he will get something done with the powers to be. Which player in India still not reached the selling ceiling level? Most of them. I think all of them can somehow or the other improve. But at some stage they stagnate and then reaching peak and then they go down again. It's my favorite example is a player that I liked a decade back when I first saw him was Lalinzwala Chante. And I've seen the growth. I've tried to help him myself when we organize, uh, you know, the training stint and trial at Viking Stavanger. And if I look at him when he left Chennai and came to Mumbai and what he's done, great. But this season, where you thought, okay, great finish to last term, can he go to the next level? No, he couldn't. That is the problem for Chante, right? And if I'm talking at that level of Lalinzola Chante, of seen as a junior, and I said, listen, this is the last player where I thought, this could be a big one for us. I've not seen anyone since for the last 10 years. A player where I'd say, I expect this player to break through. Where we're getting worse is that U15 years thing, if that we can upgrade, surely we could get emerging player after decades. 100%, but it's not under 15, under 18 only. On it is starting with our youth, our grassroots, actually, the way the kids start playing football. Our football basics are bad. In the last 2+ years that I've seen the Indian national team play football matches against XYZ team, it doesn't matter who we're playing. Everybody else was better than us technically. Everybody else seems to be tactically better. Mentality is better. How can that be? Right? And it's not just a men's thing. Look at Sabitra Bhandari when we are playing Nepal in the SAF Women Championship semifinals. Nepal beating us on mentality. Where are we? Sorry, guys. These are basics that I'm talking about. Nothing special. This is what we need to and have to work on. Parthiv Gogoi, another player that they recommend national team. Morally, Parthiv Gogoi is another one. Again, joins my club of potential Indian players, right? But hasn't moved up that next step. Nihal is doing good for PFC. Zoravar, where is he doing good? What is his impact? He's coming on, playing a few matches, putting on the bench again, then comes on as a sub. That's not impact. Sir, apart from FSD's 50 crore per year, how much does F manage to raise and how much do they need? They're spending about 120 crores. Money is coming in from FIFA grants, from AFC grants. There's limited money coming in via sponsorships here and there, and they're raising money through, for example, coaching licenses and other things. And a little bit coming from the government as well. Franco, the Indian national team footballer during 70, from which state did he belong? I think if I'm right, Maharashtra. Gujarat is doing really good work in terms of sport infra. Saw a video recently, they're turning the undersides of flyovers into sports complexes and gyms. Great. Do you think in Rene time we had better bench strength compared to today? Or this problem exists during that time also? We had much better bench. As I just said 4 players were fighting for that left wing position. Ishfaq very often didn't even get close to the national team because of that. Right? That's the reality. There was a case, I don't exactly know exact country's club they gave Changte 4-year contract, but he didn't accept because ISL was paying him little more. On it, it wasn't 4, it was a 3-year contract. I organized it with friends, with Viking Stavanger, and in Norway in 2019. That's 5.5 years ago, in August 2019. 3-year contract, and the ISL club wasn't paying him a little more. The ISL clubs were offering him a lot more just because he had gone on a trial abroad. And Changte then in the end signed for Chennaiyin. So therefore, these are also realities of Indian football. And quality won't improve unless the quality of the youth teams improve. 100% Zurawa. That's the main thing. Na? Our grassroots and our grassroots and youth football need to improve for us to have better footballers coming through from the 17, 18, 19-year-olds, then getting into the senior setup. Today I tweeted Mohammad Supergiant should have at least one footy school for U8, 10, 12 in each district of West Bengal, and youth teams should participate. Meena and Gothia Cup. Team Dr. Nelson Pinto has liked the post. Great, but there's no need to go to the Gothia Cup or to the Meena Cup. If you do organize it amongst your own, to do inter-district tournaments of just Mohun Bagan teams, if you do that, that's more than enough. To think about abroad, they're too early, they're too young. If Mohun Bagan did that, and don't even do it across Bengal. Why don't you do it, let's say, start South Bengal? If Mohun Bagan started in South Bengal, that would be a start. I honestly want Manolo to stay at FC Goa. If he leave FC Goa, then new manager would not consider Bryson just intuition. Anit, he's not staying. He's the national team coach and he's moving on to the Indian national team full time in the summer. Constantine Nikolai Adams, guess these coaches underrated or we never realized the importance. They were underrated and we never realized the importance. I think that under Nikolai is an old friend. I think we would have most probably made the knockouts in the under-17 World Cup. Wasn't Nikolai abusive towards those U17 kids? Rushabh, no, that's the story of trying to get rid of him because there were other things in the background. Yes, Kalyan takes half of it for traveling. He doesn't. That traveling part, organizing meetings and all that stuff, those have to be factored in as costs. You like it or not. That's part, the AIFF office is part of the cost, right? So if that is your problem seriously, then guys, there have Indian football has problems, but these administrative costs need to be there. If you like it or other people don't like it, right? Apala, sorry. Your take on Paramveer of PFC? Notes to myself, give him time. Has certain potential, but I think at the moment, if you look at him in the ISL, I feel sometimes he's a little bit out of his depth because, again, for any Indian defender, it is difficult to play against these foreign attackers. Yeah. Can we say Chetri, JJ, Robin Singh, that firepower and balance in national team or not at all? These generalizations don't work morally for me. Sunil is Sunil. JJ had his impact. Robin had his impact. Could have had more impact. And that's the thing. How much does it cost to organize an international friendly? That depends on where you're organizing, who's coming, if you're paying match fees. Can't generalize as such. I think Mohun Bagan is planning to open a football school. They have already acquired 2 grounds, appointed Deji Cardozo. They have U9, 13, 15, 17, 21 at present. Good, but that is something in Kolkata, right? Not its Polish's idea was to go pan Bengal. Anyone using those info in Gujarat? Haven't seen anyone in those pics and videos. Also, what are the rents? Good question. I don't know. Maybe Zoraba knows. I don't know. How cruel footballers. We are heartbroken. The football gods have not even once given us Kerala Blasters a chance to be happy. Pradeep, being happy as a football fan of a certain club is not what football is about. You have your moments, right? But some of the biggest clubs in the world have rarely won something or have never won something, actually. There are a lot of clubs who've never win anything in there. So therefore, the Blasters to me are one of the success stories of the Indian Super League in regard to the connect that the club and the fans have been able to make. But it's also sometimes, not sometimes, you have to go through the phases. Tonight, for example, in less than a couple of hours, we have a top clash in the German second tier, right? Hertha BSC Berlin is hosting Hamburg SV, two big clubs in Germany. 74,000 people will be at the Olympic Stadium tonight. It's going to be a sellout. The Olympic Stadium in Berlin, right? The second highest attendance in Germany this weekend. Borussia Dortmund hosted a game, 81,000 plus. Second highest attendance will be in that stadium. And those two are playing second tier football. So therefore, I understand the hurt of the Blasters fan. So let's see. Can you say there no monopoly exists in football? Where does monopoly come in football? No, it can't be. And Zurawa has an answer. Those have been recently inaugurated. Okay. How bad was Chennaiyin FC form today match? First half, clearly FC Goa. FC Goa were all over them in that first 45. That was quite impressive to see from FC Goa. Um, but in the second, Chennaiyin FC were in it, but couldn't get a goal out of the game and therefore lost it. So okay, I've seen worse games of Chennai this season. First start for Uzbek 20-year-old centre back for City. And within 3 minutes, he made a huge mistake leading to goal. Unfortunate. So those things will happen, right? I mean, um, it is for him. If you think he was playing at home in Uzbekistan, then he moves to Belarus, then he moves to France, and then he moves to England. He's moving up steps. And at Manchester City, you're at one of the biggest teams, and the team is struggling, right? So that's another thing. So give him time. Honestly, I see ISL just because European matches comes at late night, or who would this quality dot. Okay, Vinith. Chennai were not pressing, but in second half they were pressing, making FC Goa do miss passes. Yeah, and that's the thing. You have to go out and play from the first minute. I think that's the main thing in the Indian Super League. If you try, if you push, then something would will happen, right? If you wait for things to happen, nothing will happen. So that is something that you need to keep in mind, and that's how things are. And yeah, that's a reality of things now. So therefore, if Chennai and own calls, he was very disappointed with the first half, and he changed things at the break because otherwise things would not have happened. So therefore, that's something. Yeah, that is a reality. Can we say if our kids get the same exposure as European kid, can we play better? Do you think our basics should be a priority in future? Maybe these generalizations um, are difficult because it is not just exposure, it's training, it's facilities, it's matches, it's even the weather. All these things have an impact. So therefore you can't replicate something, but the basic should be better, yes, but it needs to be a priority for us. Everything else doesn't work. We need to prioritize the right things for things to happen. What's your opinion on Shield winner Mohun Bagan or FC Goa? Sambo, to me, I still think that it's advantage Mohun Bagan Super Giant, but I think in the next week things could be interesting. Mohun Bagan hosting BFC on Monday, and then FC Goa traveling to Jamshedpur FC on Sunday. So let's see, where we're heading. But I will still think Mohun Bagan have the advantage. But Molina being Molina, and we had starting lineups and substitute or late substitution Who knows? Maybe, Manolo is very clear. His team is doing what he needs to do. And that first half from FC Goa was very impressive today. Hi, Ishan. Welcome back. Hi, Kumar. I've been watching the highlights of Nopang League of U14 from this YouTube. Sangeeta Ezra Nathan. It makes me happy when I watch those matches of kids. Good to hear. Mohun Bagan playing 40-year-old defender in the U17 team. Degi rates him highly. Starts regularly in U17 league. So, Ravar, as I said, I think Polash was highlighting this the other day about someone. Good, let him play. But my first question is he actually 14 or is he already 17? First question. Because then if he's 14, you can work on the kid. If he's 17, certain work you can't do. Ideally, how should an Indian child start journey according to you? Which club, which academy, what? Only it's not which academy or what. It's just you have to start playing local football. I know, for example, in Kolkata, there are these small football training centers which are quite good. For example, there's a training center called Warming Up Kids, right? Very simple thing, but they work, do good work. So find the right ones. It doesn't have to be with the big club. It doesn't have to be with something small might be better sometimes. Jingan is getting better with each game. Good for the national team. Yes, we need Sandesh Jingan in top form. Do you think the quality of foreigners have dropped in ISLs? Some teams are not convinced with El Sinio has been roughed up this time few times this season, and therefore, generally I agree. FC Goa winning title. Lord Molina will bottle it as usual. So now he won the ISL last time around. Huh? He was here with Atletico de Kolkata. Why was Nicola ousted? If abuse wasn't the reason, then it makes sense how these players fell down. Was he pushing too much? I wouldn't want to give it all to a coach if he gave me an opportunity. Rishabh, there are reasons for it, and I'm not going to talk about publicly. And there were reasons to it. Let's not get into that. Mohun Bagan, because they have little more quality, so if they go in AFC 2, so India's image looks good. No. Forget which team goes into AFC Champions League 2. No Indian club is good enough. Can we say Indian football signal now for because of state FA? Yes, other factors also contribute, but this is the main reason. Murali, it's the whole system, not state FAs. It's AIFF, it's state FAs, it's the clubs, it's the academies, it's coaches, it's the whole system. How do you see street football? Because majority of South American players come from those roads. Not all. Uh, uh, but street football doesn't always mean that they play on streets, Murali. They also play in those cages and other things. Yeah. Can you really tell the quality of you 8, 10, 12, 14 play after watching games of him or her regularly through YouTube? No. Kumar, scouting, let's say via videos is the first step. That's why scouts ideally always like to watch players, kids or adults play live. Because playing live is always a different thing than watching someone in theory on a screen. Because that's what I say. Therefore, watching YouTube is nice, but I always say also I like to watch matches live rather than um, yeah, better than rest of ISL clubs. Or against foreign teams, all of them are of the same. Indian clubs, ISL, not good enough. Do you think West Bengal winning so many Santosh Trophies is due to them getting players from other states to play for them? In the past, yes. In the last few years, no. But in the past, yes. The best players used to play in Kolkata, and then when the importance of the Santosh Trophy was a different one, right? The Santosh Trophy was one of the biggest tournaments in India, besides the Durand, the IFA Shield, and the Rovers Cup. So therefore, yes, it was a different era. Are you coming for East Bengal game in Mumbai? That's my plan. Again, it depends on my work. I should be next Friday at the Mumbai Football Arena. AFC kicked Mohun Bagan from ACL 2. Was it fair decision? Some of my opinion, yeah. And I think they were lucky that Mohun Bagan didn't get a bigger punishment with that. Looking forward to an absolute cracker of a game on Monday, Bangalore FC versus Mohun Bagan. Yeah, Ishan, let's see. Do you remember Son fight with Hugo Lloris? How do you see it? Well, really, it happens in football. Do you play football when you visit India or just in Germany? Rishabh, I sometimes, at least in Kolkata, I've played five-a-side with some friends, if time permits. But again, I'm not coming on holiday or something. I'm coming on work, so therefore I'm not, um, So yeah, I do play. But Molina did not top the league table last time. They finished fourth and then won the cup. Same thing with Habas too. But last year he changed the approach. That's frustrated. Palash, there is this weird statistics of teams in the ISL. But again, and at the time, Molina, the ISL Cup was rated higher than the League Shield. Now that things have changed because we've now got a longer league. So therefore, we'll wait and see. And last season, I think Habas didn't change much. What Habas allowed his team to play, unlike earlier teams which he set up defensively. In India, coaches say, look at international football and learn things. Do you think certain things we should not learn? Yeah, of course. Again, certain behavioral things, especially with Cristiano Ronaldo or with the Neymar, there are certain things which I feel you shouldn't do in football, but those guys do it, right? So that's a reality. Or now, do you have any educational course or any course to learn scouting through online through the website? If any, there are some. Just check under UEFA.com and look at scouting. They have some material. I don't know if that's openly available. When you were you connected to ISL and past AIFF or it like fanboy? On it, I've done some work for the AIFF in the past. I also I've been involved in setting up of the. Sorry. Oops, Salah. Sorry. Um, and Yeah, I was involved in setting up Mumbai City Football Club in 2014 and also worked for the entities around the world. Do you think sending a scouted intern to Europe and develop them through European academies can produce a golden generation? However, you're not allowed to send 8 to 10 year olds to Europe. So therefore that question doesn't arise. Curious question, can PA holders stay in unlimited days or still time where it apply? You can stay unlimited. So what is handball? Can you explain it? Dark Knight handball is, smaller ball, play handball, you've got goals, 7 players on the field. That's the other sport. His answer to Edmund Hillary, who failed to climb Everest, why is climbing Everest again and again? As long as Everest is there, I will come. We're waiting for Kerala Blasters. Live the story. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Getting a lot of calls at the moment. Yeah. So that's it. You have to, Pradeep, very good. Stay with it. Support the Blasters always. Do you watch whole ISL match? Because one day I got time to watch AC Milan Inter. After that, it was Mohammedan match. I could not watch that. My eyes were bleeding. On it again. Not every game uh, is good, and also not every game. So therefore, yeah. East Girl fans are silent about the penalty they were given yesterday. However, why would you criticize something which has gone in your favor? And I one request we have to do a podcast interview with limited minutes. Also a problem only. As I said, Kumar, would love to, but again, time doesn't permit, and that's the thing. And my timing is not matching with people to do interviews. Is Mumbai Academy good as you work there? On it, it's okay. Could be better, but yeah, Yes, there are those who were not given, right? I think we older can do everything like an almost except taking part in Indian elections. Yes, not taking part in elections and hold agricultural land. Do you think certain time without achieving anything we make Indian player like Hero Star or red carpet when we try to reach them, bouncer pushes fan away from opinion? We make them superstars. Do that push them away? I don't know. Again, I know the players differently, so I can't judge them on that. But to me, yeah, we make heroes too quickly. Right, nearly 1 hour and 40 minutes of this live, and slowly coming to the end of this Saturday night live on a night that FC Goa beat Chennaiyin FC, closing the gap at the top to 4 points. Now they're behind Mohun Bagan Super Giants. Tomorrow, Mumbai City play Mohammedan Sporting, which is important for Mumbai City to try and ensure their participation in the playoffs. And interesting, I don't know, are Mohammedan Sporting playing tomorrow? Are they not playing tomorrow? There's been some rumors about that as well. And I'll be doing an earlier live tomorrow. Hiren is likely to join me, most probably around 4:30 tomorrow Indian time. And and I, as I leave later on, and therefore tomorrow 4:30 pre-ISL game, Hiren will be joining me for that live. So do join us. As I say, like, share, and subscribe. And I'll be back very, very soon. This is Anav Chaudhary signing off. Good night, everyone.